Hello, and welcome back to TechPunTers. We are back with our latest episode. It's the 4th episode, I guess. And AJ, say hello.
Hello.
So in this episode, we'll be talking about driverless cars and overall AI around it. So AJ, how will you brief this about?
Okay, so in our previous episode of CES 2017, we saw that CES was majorly filled with self-driving cars and stuff and concept cars. So today we'll talk about self-driving cars.
Yeah, and we have a special guest with us, Tapan Kamath from our college only again. So Tapan, what's your take on it? So you followed CES closely, and what did you saw? Like, what was the main attraction?
So, in my roots, I'm a car guy, and I follow anything cars. And recently I got into tech about a couple of years back, and I saw CES being a stage where it's no more about electronics, but it's more about cars, more self-driving cars, more concept cars, and this normally happens in car shows. There are multiple car shows across the world meant specifically for this, but now they are coming into an electronics show. Even Marcus Brownlee, MKBHD, said about CES being less of a consumer electronics show and more of a car show.
Yeah, car electronics show.
Exactly. So my belief is people are a bit skeptic and you're worried that it will take away jobs and threats like how can you let the complete control in the hands of robots. But I believe it's good for us because there are millions of people across the world who die in car accidents, and 90% of those car accidents are caused by human error. Now if you can remove the human error and leave, let's say, 10% of it to any other factors, then you have saved a lot of humans. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm waiting for the day when I can just call a cab and go wherever I want.
Yeah, but the whole thing about the driverless car thing started in 2015. Around in 2015 we saw some electric cars coming to the show. The road or to the consumers. Then it started with making it driverless with some AI and stuff.
I think it started before that. I think Google was the first one.
Yeah, Google was testing from a long time.
Initiative and test out some self-driving car, some AI for that.
But I think it's actually Tesla again.
Yeah.
Because Tesla, they became full-fledged after 2008. The Roadster came out and then it was followed by the Model S. And there are many Model S ads where they show autonomous driving. And this is late 2010, 2012. I may be wrong, but this is mostly when it happened. And I believe Tesla is already working on it. I won't say they are the pioneers right now. No one is. Google, on the other hand, they are not about making cars. Of course, they're not a car company. But they are more towards software the way
they're
Android
working on the AI actually.
Exactly. It's like Android. There are many phone manufacturers who go to Google for their Android OS. Similarly, it's going to happen where you're going to have multiple car companies going to Google for their AI.
Okay, just to make our viewers know what exactly happens in autonomous cars, it's basically the radars, lidars, GPS, odometry and computer visions are attached to the cars, and that all data gets computed and the car gets the AI gets the hold of the car and the car travels in that sense.
So now the SAE has given some classifications for the AI. As in, they have provided levels from level 0 to level 5. Level 0 being the least autonomous and level 5 being the most autonomous. Totally autonomous.
So the level 0 states that the car is not fully automated, but it can receive warnings and all.
It gives the driver some minor warnings.
Yeah, minor warnings. And right now the development has reached level 4. So level 4 says that the car knows about the environment around it and can react accordingly, like weather, rain and all, etc. It can know and it will drive accordingly.
Point safely. To be noted, not all environments, just a few of them. They are still working on the major leap that is in between level 4 to level 5, and we'll talk about it a bit later.
Okay, there's one more question which Tapan has.
Yeah, so I was in discussion with my friend about self-driving cars, and he asked me 2 questions. One, do you think car ownership will fall in the future? And second, if it falls, will you still own a car?
Okay,
Now,
that's a pretty deep question right now. So right now we all are owning cars.
Yes.
So but if the car can run itself, like it can drive itself, there will be no drivers. So I don't know. Ola and Uber will take over the market, and it will seriously affect drivers and all. But even the people, rather than buying, they will actually go and just take an Ola or an Uber.
the thing is, okay, now I don't have the statistics about this, but assume that right now, using Uber daily for your commute is cheaper than owning a car. They have had a few ads saying this. I don't know the exact if it's true or not, but let's assume it's like that. Now in a scenario where we have, let's say, level 5 autonomous vehicles, we won't have any drivers. So basically Ola and Uber are dead.
No.
Let me explain. Uber and Ola right now are running off on drivers.
Okay.
If they don't use drivers, basically they are a software company. They are an IT company now. They are
But still they are providing taxis. So
they are providing taxis, but they're not being driven.
driven by humans. So if it's driven by something, but it's still providing a customer base. Like it's
providing
still
a customer
a service
base
to the customer base.
It is providing a customer base, no doubt. But if you have no drivers, you have no one to pay. What's going to happen is, let me explain in Uber's point of view. Uber has a sub company called Otto, OTTO. They are making self-driving trucks, and they have recently delivered 50,000 Budweiser cans.
Oh, with that AI all that stuff.
Yeah.
All the driver did was get the truck on the main highway. From there onwards, the AI took over. The truck driver sat on the passenger seat. The truck drove it to the next city, wherever the destination was. The driver took control and just parked it where it was supposed to be parked. The whole thing, 90% of the distance was covered by AI.
Okay.
And this has already happened.
Okay.
This is Uber. Now they also are working on their own self-driving cars.
Yeah, it started and they had to stop because of some permission.
That was in San Francisco, but it's working well in Pittsburgh already. So, I don't know about Ola, but at least Uber is looking ahead because they know this won't work for long.
Yeah.
So they have decided to take control themselves instead of depending on someone like Tesla or Google to provide them AI-powered cars.
Yeah. So that even actually, I think the company will still exist. No matter what,
they will.
But they will still be called a taxi company, because how do you call a taxi? Like book and cab, book, like wave your hand or something. But you will still be using that same app. It won't show you the driver's details, but it will still show you the car's number.
Yeah,
but it's still a taxi company. So that's my whole point. Like they will be progressing a lot, I think.
But again,
they'll be earning a lot.
In this scenario where we have a level 5 autonomous vehicles, what's going to happen is it's not just Tesla it's not just Uber or Ola. It's going to be the entire vehicle or automotive industry. If you have vehicles that are self-driven, you have no reason to own a car because of course a cab will come.
Yeah.
And you can't actually buy a car because every car in the city is being run by AI. I would like to talk about a guy named Bob Lutz.
Okay.
He's the ex-chairman of GM, General Motors. What he said was that today's cars will become like yesterday's horses.
Yeah.
When there was horse carts, we had horse carts pulling all your carriages.
In early 90s.
Early 90s when the internal combustion engine was just developed.
Yeah, just developing.
Then we had the Ford Model T. Now that car was the first mass-produced car, and that started replacing the horses. But did it kill the horses? No. Even today, if you are interested in horses or riding horses, you can buy a horse. It'll be living in a stable, and you can do horse riding or whatever the horse-related sports are. You can still do it, but that does not mean that the horses are dead. Now, how does this apply to cars? Today's cars, we are using it for going to our work or going outside the cities for trips and all. But once we have AI, the cars in the cities will die, but cars as a concept won't die.
Yeah.
For normal people who don't care about cars, and this is mostly our generation who's more into experiences than
the
materialistic possessions.
Yeah.
For them, they won't care.
Yeah.
For them, as long as they can get to work, they'll be happy. people like me who are into cars, who like our Ferraris, who like our Lamborghinis, we will have to pay a bit more if you ever want to buy one. Right now,
why more? Like, what are you comparing it with?
This is in comparison to right now we have no self-driven cars.
Yeah.
But imagine in a city where every car is self-driven,
okay,
and there's one car that isn't.
Yeah.
That one car is like a bomb.
Yeah, it becomes a novelty.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it will not be able to match the other AI. When we talk about AI, it also means that the cars are talking to each other. The best example of this is that when you're walking on a crowded station, do you ever crash into a person?
No, because
probably you might brush them.
Yeah,
probably you might brush them, but you'll never hit someone that the other person will fall. Similarly, in level 5, we'll have cars talking to each other, saying, okay, please keep this X amount of distance between each other. And let's say there's an emergency, like let's say for example ambulance, who needs to reach first. So they'll say, okay, there's an ambulance behind me, please make way. So all the cars in front of it will divert.
Okay.
Making a clear way for the ambulance.
And even that, taking up that point, even the traffic congestion will reduce a lot.
And again, I'll like to talk about Bob Lutz. What he also said was, okay, so I live in the north of the city and my college is in the center of the city, so I have to take the main highway. Now, in my scenario, what would actually happen is I would call one of the self-driving cars. It'll come and pick me up, and I'll put in my destination. What it'll do is it'll catch the main highway.
Yep.
Now, this main highway will be layered with wireless charging technology.
Yeah.
Now, you might say this is a thing of the future, but it isn't. Qualcomm has already developed this for the BMW i8.
Okay.
Now, this BMW i8 is a concept which is being used by Formula E. Now, Formula E is electric car racing. So, because you need to charge quick, it's a safety car. So, the BMW i8 just rolls over the parking spot, which has these wireless chargers. It charges the car.
Yeah, but is it still working? Like
it does work.
It does work. Okay. Is it in process or like?
It's still in its conceptual stages. Okay. It's not in production. It's not production ready.
Like an alpha stage.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once it becomes in a kind of a main production line, you have these highways layered with these charging pads, and as the car goes over it, it'll keep on charging.
Yeah.
So what will happen is if this let's say a particular autonomous car is in a city, it'll keep on charging itself every time it comes on a main road.
Yeah.
And this does not have to be a main highway running through the city. It can be just the main road that many people use.
Okay.
Just take today's most congested roads. Imagine them having all these wireless pads being run completely by AI cars, and it could be really fast. It could be around 300 kilometers per hour.
That's too fast. Like
that is too fast for you because we are not used to all this.
Oh.
But tell me, when cars can talk to each other.
Yes, a better point right
exactly.
now.
When cars can talk to each other, when there's no problem.
Yeah. You feel safe, so you won't mind reaching even 180.
In the last century, crossing 200 kilometers per hour was a big thing. But now we have cars that can touch 400. Not all cars, but doing 200 is not a big deal today.
Yeah.
Similarly, when we go ahead, watching self-driven cars doing 300 won't be a big thing.
Yeah.
And this is in a scenario which is like 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line. By then, it will be a normal thing.
Yeah.
And come on, we are on level 4 already.
Yeah. With the AI, yes.
This is just the second decade of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Next 2 decades, we'll already be there.
Okay. Talking about the decades, even the Google CEO last month said India will be the last country to have self-driven cars. And later, 2 weeks later, Tata CEO said we're gonna start testing the auto-driving cars on the road, and they got the permission, and the name is something LCR something, and they're gonna start the testing period also. But I think I totally agree with the Sundar Pichai that India would be the last country to have a self-driving cars, because the rickshawalas and normal people, how they drive, it's pathetic. The self-driving car won't even move. So will AI survive in India? That's the big question of the night.
If Sundar Pichai actually said that, I think he's being the typical Indian who likes to be skeptic about the country. The reason is, I understand, because I mean, come on, you have cows coming in the middle of the street out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that happens, I understand, and everyone says this because India is crowded, it's overpopulated, there's so much traffic, and I totally understand this. But India is, if you can bring self-driving cars in India, you can bring self-driving cars in any country.
Yeah, any country. So the main point being the lanes. Actually, AI works by looking at the lanes, the lines of the lanes. So if it doesn't see the lanes, how will it travel? I can't see a single. If barring the highways, there's no road having those lanes drawn. So how will that AI even like crawl? How will the AI car even crawl on that road?
Tesla has already solved this.
Oh, how?
In the US, there are stretches of roads which is like newly built and have no lanes on them. What it does, it follows the car in front of it.
So the car in front of it must be driven by a human.
It could be.
Obviously, there has to be. So
okay, now this is where I get a bit cringy. The reason being, if you're considering a world where there are AI cars everywhere, don't you think we'll have the infrastructure for it? Now it's like saying we'll have trains, but of course you'll have railway tracks, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, you will have lanes. You cannot just expect cars to just start driving themselves now.
Yeah.
It's a slow development. As I said, 20 years. In 20 years, you'll have 5 years down the line, we'll have the first car company to actually be able to drive themselves completely. Probably Tesla, because they're already on autopilot 2.0 with all those cameras and LiDAR, radars, all those stuff.
Everything.
Then we have Faraday Future, a bit controversial about how they're working, but they seem to be there.
At least they have tackled the speed point of view.
Exactly.
They are yet to tackle the AI point of view.
Yeah, they seem to have potential.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen is, if we are reaching that stage where we have level 5 autonomous cars, we'll have the infrastructure too. As I said, you need those charging systems because you cannot expect cars to still stay running on normal engines. Electric cars are way more efficient. They give us more room. They can be smaller. They have a whole lot of advantages, and Elon Musk can just give you a big lecture on that. So that's there, and 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, we will have the infrastructure. You will see it around you.
But don't you think that will bring on the monopoly of the companies around?
No, because cars have to unite. These companies have to unite. It's the same thing with Internet of Things. You need companies to work together. It may be on different OSs. It's like this. We still have this Android versus iOS wars, but then you have apps like Pushbullet who can transfer files between them. You have apps like Share It. These are the middlemen who are
who are just building that bridge between them.
Exactly. We will have companies who will do this, or you will have companies who just provide the AI software, and you will have companies like Mercedes or BMW. So there will be someone who will be tying these both together because you have to work together on this. It's just like IoT. AI has to work together if you want it to work.
And even the perfect example of working together has been given by the Faraday Future. Faraday Future in CES 2017 said that they can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.39 seconds. Later, Elon Musk tweeted like they can push their Tesla Model S to 2.22.
Yeah, it was an Easter egg.
Yeah, Easter egg. So that wasn't. After that, on that tweet, Faraday Future tweeted that it's a good thing. It's a healthy competition. It's better for humanity. So they are tying up together.
And that's the reason why Elon Musk has kept the patents open in the first place. This is what, I think 5 years back when the news was out that we are opening up patents. And people were like, are you mad? Because this technology is new and why would you just give it away? But he believes in a bigger picture that, we need to reach that stage. And we cannot just go one company at a time. We need to take everyone together with us.